In an interview, the showrunner and two different cast members all came out and said that the biggest mystery of season 1 would be solved in Yellowjackets season 3. And to me, if we go back to it, the biggest mystery of them all is who is Pit Girl, and that started in season 1. So I believe this is that mystery, and we will see who the Pit Girl truly is. In this video, we will break down everything that we know about Pit Girl, give you all the people that I think it could be, and then you will decide at the end. Let me know in the comment section who you think the Pit Girl is, and I'll tell you exactly the reasons why I believe that this person has to be the Pit Girl. What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one, and this is Yellowjackets season 3. Make sure you thumbs up the video, 500 is the like goal, and subscribe so you can join me this week on our live stream, call-in live stream, where you'll be able to call in, give your opinions, and let me know how you feel. Let's get right to it. The first thing we could take away from this scene is the weather itself. We see that there's a significant amount of snow on the ground. Now this season, we have heard them say that they are prepared for winter. So the snow hasn't fell yet, but should it fall this season, which I believe it will align things to let you know that this is the season that the Pit Girl will be killed. And if they escape out of this place right after, it makes sense that that would happen. So the weather is the first thing we can see. The next thing I would like to talk about is her wardrobe. It seems, and I'm going to say this, that she's wearing some type of nightie, some type of nightgown. Now, why she'd be wearing this in this weather, whether it's a ceremony and they gave it to her to make her go out in this, we don't know, but that's what it seems to me. Some type of nightie, some type of nightgown. Obviously, in these winter conditions, you would not be wearing something like this. So the person who is wearing it either was not prepared for this type weather, didn't plan on being out here during this type weather, or they had some type of cabin maybe they were staying in, where they were able to get undressed and sleep in these attire. That's what I think is going on there. Next time we stop, they stop on the tree. And on this tree, it appears to be an eye marked on the tree. I think that's what they're going for, whether someone carved it in there or it's just the natural pattern of a tree. The fact that they show two of them makes me believe that they want you to believe that someone is watching them. Something to do with watching. Next thing we could notice about Pit Girl is her build. She seems to be very slender. She seems to be young. She seems to be one of the Yellowjackets. That's what it appears to be. She doesn't appear to have excess weight on her as somebody might who has not lived in the wilderness for all this time, who has been eating and just living life in general. She does appear to be extremely slender, unless she's someone who's a workout freak out there and she's working out all the time. So it does appear that they're trying to let you know or think that this is one of the Yellowjackets, and they're doing this to one of their own. And they wanted you to believe from season 1 that this was some type of sacrifice to the wilderness, that's the reason why that happened. But I don't believe that's the case whatsoever. I don't think they're doing a sacrifice to the wilderness at this time. The color grading makes it kind of hard to figure out exactly what her color is, right? We know she ain't black. That's a given. That would have just gave the whole thing away. But to me, she looks like she's a white girl. She has full lips, and her hair seems to be dark brown in this picture. And again, she's huffing and puffing, so we know she's not like a workout queen, you know, so she's definitely tired from all this running and scared for her life, which would make you even more tired in this situation. She doesn't seem to know where she's going. She's heading down a direct path, and that's where we get to the conclusion. Now, if it's one of the Yellowjackets, who is the Pit Girl? You would think that she would know that that pit would be right there. Now we can spin it and say she was scared to death, so she was just running with reckless abandon. It does appear to be lighter outside, so it's not like it was so dark that she could not see the pit. But you would think that they had this pit and they dug it together. Not dug it, but most likely it's the same hole that we have already seen used in this season, and they just put sticks down there. But you would think that she would know exactly where this is, and she would know how to avoid it if she was one of the Yellowjackets. So this person seems to run head on into it with no abandon and just goes right down into the bottom of the pit. So it makes me think at this particular time that there's a good chance that this person isn't one of the Yellowjackets, just for that reason of her not being able to avoid the pit, when she should know, if she's a Yellowjacket, that that pit is right there. Now, before she drops into the hole to her demise, they make it a point to show us that she has blood on her right foot, but no blood on her left foot. So previously, before this happened, somehow she gets injured on the bottom of her right foot. That injury did not come from her falling inside the pit. She was running with this injury. So was she held captive somehow? They messed up her foot to keep her there. That is the same thing that they tried to pull on Coach. It would also line up with the injuries we see of the person being dragged, because they are injured on their right foot, even though that does look like a puncture wound that could have happened when the person fell. Possibly it came before, because if it's the same girl, we know that she had the blood from her foot before that. So maybe they stabbed her in the foot with a stake to try to prevent her from escaping, and that's how they tried to keep her, and that's why she got this injury. It's hard for me to see, but when I zoom in as close as I can, it's hard for me to see a stake coming through her foot. I do not see one. Possibly it's there and I'm just missing it. I do wear glasses, so that could be the case. But when I look down at it, I don't see one coming from the angle of the foot where that injury was from. But they do make a point to point out the injury to the hand, that you could see the stake going directly through the hand. Now, you could say this is some type of religious thing and that's why they showed it everything, but they did make a point to showing you the injury in the hand with the stake going right through it. And then also they show us the chain. We know this is the Yellowjackets wearing Jackie's chain. You would think that if anyone's going to be wearing it, it's going to be somebody from the Yellowjackets team, which makes sense why they would be wearing it, and that it's somebody from the group that got killed, that maybe they did not like what they had to do to these bird people, and they have to sacrifice that person and chase that person down too. It's funny that they are chasing this person down, so they're giving this person a chance to escape. It's not like they're just executing them right there. They're letting this person run around and then chase them down, or this person has escaped on their own and they're just tracking this person down, and this person has no idea where they're going. They got no shoes, they're just running for their lives, which seems like most likely that could be the case of what happened. But then again, why is she dressed in the nightie? If that's the case, why wouldn't she be dressed in something warmer than the nightgown that we've seen her in? Alright, that is basically all the evidence we are given about the pit girl. So let's take all that evidence and let's put it together and try to point to everything that leads to who this pit girl is. Also, what's very important is that when they're doing what they're doing to this girl that's hanging up, it's Natalie is the one that they show that's having these thoughts. Natalie is the one that's being haunted by this memory. So this can't just be a regular sacrifice or killing that they have done over and over again. It has to be something that Natalie herself was not wanting to do, that she didn't want to do it, and that's why it's haunting her so much, and that she keeps thinking about it, and that's why they showed it to us through her perspective. Alright, let's break down the people that it could be. First suspect has to be Mari. People have been thinking her since season 1. It all checks a lot of boxes for her. The lip size of the girl, 100% checks. The build of the girl, 100% checks. The hair color, 100% checks. But the problem I have with her, me personally, is that if this is the same pit that she falls into, shouldn't she know that that pit is there? Shouldn't she be able to avoid it and run around it instead of going directly into the center of it? I mean, it's not like they just missed it by. This person ran right into the middle. And you would think the fact that she had so much experience with this pit, and they had to put the spikes down there, right? So they had to go down there, put the spikes down there, do all the sabotage and the booby trapping of it, that you would think that someone, if they're a yellow jacket, would know, especially Mari, because of her familiarity with it, because of the whole coach situation and everything. So that is the only thing that hangs me up on Mari, is I think she would know it. It just doesn't make sense for me that she would just fall right down that hole right there. What do y'all think about Mari? Do you think she is the pit girl? Let me know in the comment section if you do. Next up, and the only other person that makes sense to me, is the birder woman that we just seen in this last trailer. Now, why would she be wearing the necklace? That would be a problem. Could she have had that lingerie? 100%. If she's out there with her man and they're staying in the cabin, then maybe she bought something sexy to wear while she was out there, so she could be wearing that. That's 100%. The only things that don't match up to me is, number one, when we see her being held by Shauna, we can see that she is much taller than them. She seems much bigger than them. I don't know if the frame matches up from this chick's height. She's basically towering over all these girls from this point when we look at it. Now, this can be explained away that they cast somebody in season 1 as just a stand-in person, and then they switch to this lady when it goes down, if they wanted to explain it away like that, because they didn't have this person casted yet, but they wanted to do the scene in season 1 to set up what's going to happen this season. Easily you can explain that. We truly can't tell the height of the pit girl from her because she's just going out there by herself and there's nothing to judge it by. So you could get around it that way. One interesting thing I will say about it is that when we see them hunt Natalie, right? Before they do that, they hunt Travis. Travis all of a sudden is the stag, and then that's when they become the wolf pack and start hunting him. And then when they hunt Natalie, we see them do howling noises because they believe that they're a wolf pack at this time, and that's why they start howling. If this is supposed to show their mentality while they're on the hunt, they feel like a wolf pack, we can listen to the sounds that we hear when the pit girl is being chased and try to defer something from that. I mean, there's a lot of screams in there, but if I had to describe it, I would say that they're making bird calls or bird sounds. That's what it sounds like to me. Ah, ah, ah. That's a bird sound. And it would make sense if they're hunting the bird lady. Now, when we look at the eyeballs in the trees that was put there, maybe they were put there by the bird people because they seen a bird there and they marked the tree that they seen the bird there. And that could go for the other things that we see inside there that look like little voodoo dolls and stuff like that. Maybe they're there to attract the birds and stuff. That's what makes me think that it's a good possibility that it's going to be the bird lady. And the fact that Natalie is so upset about it, and we see Natalie there when Shauna is holding the lady, and this is what brings Natalie back to therapy, that what happens to this girl, or this lady I should say, is that she's going to fall into the pit and die. But how she gets the necklace, I can't explain that at all. And the build, I tried to explain it away, but that's all I can do is explain it away. But you tell me what you think in the comment section. Who is the girl in the pit? And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.